Well, when the steering initially went, I was actually on the helm at the time, and we were charging along at some good speed, doing about 12 knots, and then the next thing, bang, and the steering went slack in my hands, and the boat started rounding up to the wind, obviously. As the boat came up to the wind, the kite flogged a couple of times and started to shred itself into many different pieces. So the priority then really was to make sure everyone was okay. Nobody had been hurt, luckily, and next priority, try and get the boat back under control, get the emergency tiller in place and rigged. That would enable us then to turn the boat downwind, which is really where we needed to be to try and drop what remained of the spinnaker. Guys did a fantastic job, and we were able to turn off the wind and get the kite in a matter of minutes.
Come on guys, come on, get the center. I don't want to go forward with it, come on, pull! Need some more slack.
Good, well done guys, bloody good effort. I think my initial thoughts and reactions were probably the same as everybody's on board, which was pretty crestfallen really. We've been doing so well in the last, previous week really, and then it was a bit like having the rug swept from under our feet, quite literally.
Well, we were on with the heavyweight spinnaker. We were doing good, pretty good. Heading to the first place, I think. And there was the kite, like, in how many pieces, I don't know.
I believe the longest time anybody's ever used their emergency steering is about 1,200 miles in a clipper race, and we've got about 2,500 to go to Rio, so we could be pulling on ropes for a very long time yet.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go yet, maybe on temporary steering, emergency steering.
Basically, was rushed up on deck to find the spinnaker in tatters and steering not working. What do I say? Going from last night, everything going fine, for 30 knots of boat speed, to spinnaker in tatters and no steering. I have to admit, I got a tiny bit emotional.
I think after that sort of initial fear that we were out of the game, I think everyone started coming around to the idea that things could be done, there was repairs to be made, and we just needed to grunt up and get on with it really. I've been incredibly impressed really. Instead of people turning around and saying how upset and disappointed they were, all I was getting was good ideas, which is fantastic. That's all I could ever ask for. It was a real positive kind of can-do attitude towards the whole situation.
Right, there's two of these things we call pulleys or sheaves. This one's lovely because it's bolted down to the deck and is working. This one isn't lovely because it's torn itself out.
The pulley itself was still operating, but there was no way of fixing it down. So we had to find a way of getting it repositioned and bolted into place so that we could re-thread the cables. We did this by using a variety of stainless steel nuts and bolts that we had on board, drilling and bolting the cheek plates back together and using those to in turn link with the L brackets. It's a real Heath Robinson affair really. We're keeping our fingers crossed and our toes crossed and everything else, but hopefully it'll get us to Rio.
So I think one of the best things really that's come out of this situation is how it's really helped to galvanise what was already a very strong team spirit that we had on the boat. This was the extra little push we needed to take us forward and take us on to the next level. I think we've shown that by coming together and really working hard as a team, pretty much anything's achievable. What's really surprised a lot of people and impressed us is how many people are out there rooting for us. The emails we've had back, and the letters of support and phone calls, etc., from friends, family, sponsors, people within Clipper themselves, has really shown us there's a lot of people out there sort of counting on us to do well, and we're managing to live up to their expectations at the moment, and may we long continue to do so.